Amnesty International has warned that Nigeria is on the verge of losing an entire generation to insecurity following the indefinite closure of 20,468 schools across 7 northern states in the aftermath of last week's mass abduction of more than 300 children and teachers in Niger State. In a statement issued by the director of Amnesty International Nigeria, Issa Sanusi, a global human rights body said the Nigerian government's persistent failure to prevent or adequately respond to the repeated abductions of school children and teachers is putting the future of millions of young people in jeopardy. According to Amnesty, since the kidnapping of the Chibok schoolgirls in 2014, the organization has documented at least 15 mass abductions targeting schools in the northern region. We're now being joined by Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale to discuss Education Minister Tunji Lausa's declaration of a state of emergency in that sector, what must be done to redress the leaning poverty of 45 million children in Nigeria. Mr. Sobowale, always a pleasure to have you.
Good afternoon.
These proposed state of emergency, to a large extent, one would expect it should have been, well, if it's going to be declared, it should have been done sooner than now. Right. So what is fueling this consideration, as it were?
Well, I think the minister was speaking at a lecture on education, and he was talking of reforms and the standard of education and all that. And he was quoting, figures from UNESCO, which we have always used there. The number of out-of-school children and the fact that we don't use 20 or 70 to 20% of our budget on education, we use less than 7%. And I think it's about time we told ourselves the truth. The minister is in charge. And what UNESCO is telling us about out-of-school children, UNESCO has been telling us this for about 4 years now, that we have the largest number in the world. And it's about time we arrested the situation. You see, Nigeria is one country. The north is part of Nigeria. And the north is landmass, is bigger than the rest. And it has resources. But banditry, kidnapping, insurgency, they have all brought things to a standstill. But we cannot pretend as if the north is our Siberia and we only send people, there for punishment. No. I once wrote an essay in the university. The topic was the youths of this nation are the instruments of national development. That is very apt in the situation we are in now. See, our reaction to the educational and security crisis in the north have not been very serious. This is the Minister of Education of Nigeria. And this is UNESCO figures that is quoting, rather than himself going to the Minister of Defense and putting heads together and finding ways to tell the governors that you just don't close schools. You must find alternative ways for people to learn. After all, during COVID, when we were locked in, not all services were closed. Not all working places were closed. People still work from home, even schools. So we should find ways, evolve ways to settle our problems. If we don't do it once and for all, but over time. But let us be seen as trying to solve the problem instead of theorizing and relying on dismal figures from UNESCO, which only saddens us, but makes us even sadder because we are incapable of solving the problem. Let's leave it at that for now.
Also, Mr. Sobowale, I know what you intended when you said, let us be seen as trying to solve the problem. And some might even say that this is more about playing to the gallery or trying to keep up appearances. Is declaration of a state of emergency in the educational sector what is needed at this time? Do you get a sense that what needs to be done is going to be done, or do you just think this is just for optics?
That is what I'm trying to say. The state of emergency the emergency in the world now is fashionable nowadays. It is an insecure. If you look at all sectors, emergency. So we are a government of emergencies. I will not totally condemn that, but it shows that at least we know how the precarious situation we are in and the problems we are in, and we must find solutions sooner than later. Okay, somebody spoke about this out-of-school children. 20 million is not the highest in the world. He said we are looking at the problem from the top instead of from the bottom. Get me? Out-of-school children are vulnerable, prone to recruitment, into violent gangs, into extremist groups, get me? And crime networks. And at the end of the day, like someone noted, these out-of-school children, when they become youths, maybe 15, 17, and they have deadly weapons in their hands, they become either victims or perpetrators of insecurity. So why the Yorubas have a saying that you see a man standing and the load is slanted, they say, don't look at the top, the guy has K leg. So we should look downwards at the root of our problems. And some have suggested this nomadic education, which have been abandoned, has made the Fulanis, who are the agents of jihadism in here and the whole of North Africa. It has made them abandon normal city life and wage war instead on the rest of us. The idea of the jihad education, the nomadic education, also bring them into the fold of modern life and not dwell only on Islamic education. That maybe perhaps that will make them be able to appreciate that people who live in cities deserve some respect, and people who have farms deserve respect to be with their property and not just destroying them. But that has gone literally into oblivion. You know, as usual, we still pump money into it, but we don't see the results. Maybe it is high time we took another look at it now. Instead of closing schools. You get me? And having people kidnap women. See, if women all over the world, from United States Nations figures, if the women workforce are fully employed, the economy will grow better than if they are only in the kitchen or they are uneducated. So let us not just close schools. Let the minister not just be announcing what UNESCO is doing. Let him not be talking only about reforms, but let him liaise with people who can help us nip the recruitment of our youths into violent gangs and criminal networks that are used to challenge our government.
Indeed, Mr. Sobowale, and you can't help but think that this is already a story foretold. I remember some years, my NYC was done sometime in the north, and you can see...
Where in the north?
Sokoto, if I may say so. And you see large, members of Almajiris.
Yes.
There's so many of them. I was even telling someone that, look, this could be a problem in the near future. And we're seeing, you talked about the issue of recruitment. So it's like a cultural thing being encouraging this thing to thrive, out of school children in some parts of the north. You can't help but see that. And there's not that lack of this lukewarm attitude towards solving the problem from the roots.
That's
you
right.
think?
See, let me share my experience similar to yours. When I was in Maiduguri, I did myself, the state governor said, then threatening to, the commander of the army division there, threatening to report the state governor to the Supreme Military Council, because he said, in spite of the universal basic education, if the children are not going to school, they are studying Quran, doing Quranic under education under dogoyaro trees, under the shadows of dogoyaro trees. So it tallies with what you have said.
Indeed.
Also, Mr. Sobowale, of course, there's so much to unpack on such a sensitive matter, but we have such a limited time. Thank you for doing justice with the time given to you. I appreciate your contribution as always.